Today on Retro Tech, we're going to be restoring and reviewing the Sony 1953MD professional video monitor. Now, this CRT monitor is one that we've been working on before. It had the pretty severe deflection problems. These problems were caused by failing capacitors on the main chassis of the monitor. Now, in order to fix this issue, we'll have to fully replace these capacitors with good new capacitors. To do this, we'll need to safely tear down this monitor, and that means discharging it and then removing all the other connections so we can get our main board and our power board out. Now I'm about to remove the capacitors from this deflection area of our main board, and once they're removed, I'll clean under them with some alcohol. Then I can install brand new capacitors in the old spots and attach them with some fresh solder. Next, I will be reflowing solder on the transformers for the monitor. The internal repairs are now completed, and I've reassembled my monitor to set up for some initial testing. This first test is just to see if the monitor is still working properly, and also to make sure that I cleared up the deflection problems we had originally. With the internal repairs complete, it's time to switch focus now to the exterior of the PVM. We will be disassembling this shell to give it a good cleaning. These PVM shells have 7 small plastic rivets that hold the metal frame to the back plastic of the shell, and you just need to slip some small screwdrivers in between the rivets and slowly pull them apart, and then they'll slip right out of the holes and you can get the back separated from the rest of the PVM shell. I'll also be snapping out the handles on both sides. They're plastic and can use a wash. So here we've got our full shell disassembled, and it's ready to go inside and clean, because you can see there's a lot of crud built up on the outside of this PVM. Since it's cold outside, I'm going to have to go inside and use my kitchen sink to clean. And I'm not going to use anything exotic or high-tech, just some good old-fashioned hot water and dish soap. For cleaning, I tend to use a soft sponge, and then I'll go back behind and get a motorized toothbrush and scrub in those hard-to-reach areas like the corners and the grates for the air holes. Now, the shell was kind of a pain due to its size, but still was able to get it in and clean it. After the shell has been completely dried, it's time to reassemble it. That's simply taking the back and putting it back into its spot on the side metal frame and securing it with the small plastic rivets. The handles are also easy to reinstall. They simply snap right back into place. Alright, our monitor is looking sharp, and we are almost finished with the restoration. The CRT has been cleaned inside and out. The shell looks nice and sparkly after its wonderful bubble bath. And we're ready to put the final touches on the front of this PVM. You'll notice there's still one more thing missing on the front here, and that is our Sony emblem. Now, this is a pretty common problem with these older PVMs. The original emblem will get knocked off. Thankfully, there is a replacement available on eBay. I did a lot of extensive searching online, and after doing some research, I found these Sony replacement emblems on eBay. These are high quality. They're shiny and metal. They aren't just simply some kind of tape or three-dimensional tape. They actually have metal on them, and they do have a two-sided adhesive tape, so you simply pull off one side of the adhesive tape and stick the Sony emblem right into place on the front of the PVM. This emblem is a great deal because it only cost about $6 shipped, and it is very nice once it's installed. I'll leave a link below in the description to the eBay listing. And now presenting the fully restored and finished Sony PVM 1953MD. This CRT monitor has 600 TV lines of high resolution. It was designed for the medical field and would have originally had some type of medical device hooked up underneath it. You would have seen these in the 1990s in medical facilities and hospitals. This display will support both NTSC and PAL signals and also offers inputs for composite, S-video, RGB, and component video signals. Today, these monitors are perfect for retro video games and watching vintage movies. Now, to start on our gameplay demo today, we're going to be featuring the Sega Dreamcast home console. And I want to show some special games. This is Last Hope Pink Bullets. It's another shmup by NGV development team, and it is a homebrew game. I also need to note that this monitor will not support any video signal over 480i. It won't support 480p, only 480i and 240p, but it does draw 480i and 240p in its native signal, showing plenty of good scan lines. This game is a straight up copy of R-Type. Maybe not an exact copy, obviously the level design is different, but the ship and the mechanics of the game are nearly identical. I will let you know that unfortunately this particular shmup game does not support Tate mode, so I cannot set the monitor on its side and play this in a vertical setup. Oh, goodness gracious, man, there's way too much going on this screen at once. Still, this game is a lot of fun and very difficult. Yeah, all right, take that. I also have a second game I want to highlight by NGV development team, and that is Fast Striker. This is also a shmups and a homebrew game. This game, too, unfortunately, does not have a Tate mode, but it does play vertically on your display. So this monitor does a great job of processing anything that you can input into it that's an analog video signal. This screen creates a very sharp and very clear picture. It also has a very accurate depiction of color depths and suffers from absolutely no input lag. Alright, so let's go through the final rundown on this monitor. This obviously is going to whip the tail off of any consumer grade CRT for the most part because it processes an RGB signal and also has a much clearer picture. Plus the scan lines look phenomenal on this display. But these monitors aren't cheap anymore. Unfortunately, they're going for about $400 or so on eBay now. I do feel like these are great starting monitors for anyone wanting to jump into RGB gaming. They are easy to set up, require little maintenance, and they also handle just about any sync you can throw at them. You're not going to have to worry about what type of sync you're using with this monitor. Thanks again for watching this special today. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments below. I'm Steve, and have a wonderful weekend.